Hey Scorpio, and welcome to your monthly reading for July 2016. I want to apologize for the delay. It's a great way to start my first series, but we've had some tragic events here in Dallas. I live in Dallas, and we've had some outrage in regards to some killings that had taken place the previous days, and that has affected my energy. In light of that, I kind of stepped away for a couple of days because it was a heavy energy. I wanted to deal with that before I got back to trying to give messages for other people's lives. So, here we go. I want to first ask for protection as I embark upon these answers from the universe. And I'd like to know what the universe has to tell us for Scorpio, July 2016. What can the universe tell us about Scorpio, July 2016? Scorpio. What does the universe have to tell us? What advice can the universe give us for Scorpio? Drop the card. I hate when that happens. It really makes me feel like I have disrespected the cards. That just really bugs me. So sorry about that. Let's shuffle a little more. My goal is to cut these videos down a little bit. Time to get away from already. Okay, so July 2016. And I am going to pull a card for each week. There were 5 Saturdays in the month of July, so I'm going to pull 5 cards. We are into the second week of July, so I apologize for that, but I'm still going to pull the cards for the weeks that have passed because the information is still relevant. So here we go. Give the deck one more. Just one more. So I'm telling you, one more. Okay. So for the first week, we have got the 8 of Wands reversed. Okay. The second week, we've got the Hanged Man. Right. Third week, we've got the 5 of Wands reversed, Scorpio. 5 of Wands reversed. Fourth week, we have got 6 of Swords. And for the fifth and final week, and for our outcome, we've got the 5 of Swords reversed. Okay. So, Scorpio, let's see what's going on here. Let me start by saying first that We have Major Arcana, and that comes up in the second week, and that is the Hanged Man. So that is going to be the biggest deal about this reading. And we're going to see what the support cards have to say in regards to the Hangman. Okay, so Scorpio, in the first week with the Eight of Wands reversed. Wands, the Eight of Wands is usually, in an upright position, is about making a carefully planned decision and moving quickly on that decision or you'll miss opportunities. In reverse, I feel like this card is saying sit still and don't make any decisions right now. Yeah, it seems like the Eight of Wands is telling you not to make some sort of decision regarding your, maybe this is some creative work that you're doing. Maybe you do some type of, so this is a fire energy. Can't say for sure right now. I'm not really getting, at this point in the reading, I'm not really getting what you're being asked to stand back a minute for before you make any decisions. Wands are water signs, represent the fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. 8 is about power and movement and abundance. I always associate the 8s with scorpionic energy. Maybe this is asking you to not jump to emotional conclusions about something. The way I feel about the number 8, and with this, the wands being about creativity and passion, I feel like in this first week, the Eight of Wands has asked you to not jump to any conclusions. Don't fly off the handle and say something you can't take back because you are emotionally driven by something. And with that, we're going to move on to the second week, which is the Hangman. The Hanged Man. Sorry, and that's the Major Arcana. Major Arcana are big life events, big lessons that need to be learned. These are things that can be changed. So no matter what the energy feels like, sometimes it's great energy, sometimes it's comfortable, other times it's not comfortable. But with Major Arcana, you have to just go with it. You have to figure out the best way to get through this process and be sure to try to derive the lessons from this particular theme that you should be getting. Make sure you pay attention to whatever the message is so that you can learn whatever lesson it is that needs to be learned, because Major Arcana, they're a big deal. And in order to prevent yourself from having to repeat this, I think, pay attention to what the big messages are, and if there are lessons to be learned, then by all means try to learn those lessons so you don't have to repeat the same process. So the Hanged Man is telling us to there's some confusing stuff going on. You need to surrender to something. And if you can see the hangman there, he is hanging from a tree. And you, if you're hanging from a tree by one leg, you kind of don't have a choice but to surrender. I don't know how many people I've ever seen, if I've ever seen any people strung leg down from a tree, free themselves. Not animal, not bird, not anything without the assistance of someone else. So this is like a surrendering card. Maybe you should surrender to the emotional things that you may have going on in the first week. Surrender to that instead of flying off the handle, instead of maybe trying to control the situation. Surrender yourself emotionally to whatever it is that's going on with you, and face what that is, so that you can kind of get out of your emotions, and not get out of them, but at least get balanced in them. You just don't want to do something that you can't take back, or put something out there that you wished you hadn't. So it's asking you to surrender to whatever energy it is that's around you that may make you want to go off. Surrender to the calm. Surrender to the absence of promoting conflict. You may have to sacrifice your ego for a minute, because the hangman is about making sacrifices too. And with wands being fire signs, they're very passionate about what they think and feel and believe. And it can be hard for a fire sign not to express in a very fiery way. And with the Eight of Wands again in the first week, and I say that this for me is a very scorpionic energy, with a fiery, it's a fiery energy with a scorpionic twist is the way I want to say it. So this to me couples that Scorpio type energy with the fiery energy. So you may have some truth that you're thinking about, and somebody challenges that truth, or just challenges you and your truth, and who you really are, and you might decide just to go off. And both the Eight of Wands and the Hangman, I believe, is asking you to hold off, just cool down, let them have that moment, because you don't want to do something, like I said, that's going to cause you more problems. And with the Hangman being the major arcana, then this is the tone for the entire month. The tone for the entire month, I believe, is to chill, to not get emotionally fired up, and then burn somebody to death with that fire. So in the third week, we've got, the Five of Wands reversed. Wands being about, they represent the fire signs, and they're about creativity, passion, movement, inspiration, journeys, things of that nature. So this looks like a battle. Looks like there's some young people there that are fighting with their wands. Nobody looks hurt. See, everybody looks really still put together. So the battle may not be that serious, but nonetheless, it looks like they are fighting. So, and fives are about conflict. So, again, I think, if you surrender to your, if you surrender to um, just cooling out for a minute, because if you don't, it looks like you're creating some conflict in the third week. Um, be careful about the information that you put out. No, don't give out any personal information in the third week, especially of July, because somebody may be trying to take something from you. So, no um, orders over the phone using your credit card. If you can, go pick it up. If it's something you can buy, go buy it. If somebody's calling you, asking you for your personal information, don't give it to them, because um, they could be trying to steal your identity, steal your money. Don't underestimate the opposition. And I don't know if this is something that has already been done, Scorpio, because by the time you realize what's going on, it may have already gone on. Okay, and so with that, with you surrendering, to to the calm, and not trying to cause conflict in the fifth week, looks like there's some problems with I don't know if you're involved in something, some type of maybe legal battle, and somebody in association with that is asking you for personal information. Oh, and with this being, be watchful of the opposition, because they are powerful. That could be, it feels like in this situation, judge, jury, attorneys. Seems to be some conflict. Somebody's going to try to deceive you, is what I feel like, Scorpio. Um, so be mindful of that. And like I said, I don't know if this has already happened, because it may already be done. But the good news is that even though it feels like you probably can't deal with your problems and things like that right now, like it's too much, um, you've got the Six of Swords for the fourth week. Six of Swords upright. Now, the way this card looks to me, there are 6 swords in that boat, and they are all sticking down into the bottom. This says to me that you feel like, Scorpio, that there may be so much going on that you feel like you might sink, because I feel like these arrows that are stuck down in the boat, They could very well be piercing the boat, and the boat's going to sink. But at the same time, you've got, and I don't know what they call these guys, but he's paddling along. I don't know how far they are from shore, but if you look, it doesn't look like they're that far from shore. So maybe they get to shore before the boat sinks. Now, let's go back to the fact that swords represents the air signs, Gemini, Libra, and um, Aquarius. Swords are about intellect, communication, conflict. So you've got a card of conflict with the Five of Wands, fives being conflict, and then with the Six of Swords, swords represent conflict, and it looks like you're moving ahead. You're gonna get past these things, but you feel like right now you might sink. And I said with the Five of Wands reversed, and I was already looking at the Six of Swords for the 4th week of July, Scorpio, and it just seems to me that there is a war of words of some sort. So again, I don't know, and I said too, to watch what you say. You don't want to say something that you cannot take back. And I'm starting to feel like I see a courtroom. I see a courtroom. I see you on the stand, and I'm not saying this is exactly how it is. This is a general reading for one, and this is just my vision. Is what I'm kind of picking up, but it may not be exactly that. It could be something similar. Maybe somebody is testing your truth and they plan to challenge you on it. And I may have said something like that already. But I see this as a courtroom, like this is a legal battle. And there's a war of words between the attorneys or between, the attorney and you. And I said before, be careful what information you put out there. And I talked about maybe, not giving your credit card number or your social security number. Me now seeing this as like a courtroom situation. What I'm saying is be careful what you say on the stand. Don't have outbursts. And again, it may not be that. I'm just using this as an example. Don't get caught up in your feelings about something and have outbursts and cause conflicts via a war of words, Scorpio. You've got to surrender to the powers that be, because it looks like, and Scorpio, you are powerful. But it looks like in this situation, your opponents are very powerful as well, whoever that might be. And like I said, with these swords, I'm thinking like attorneys and things like that. That's what I see. So for the 5th week, we've got the Five of Swords. So we've got another 5, first of all, which is it's conflict. It's change. It's a little bit of rebellion and doing things, thinking outside of the box, and because if you think of a 4, this is the way I like to describe it. You think of the number 4, and let's say you draw 4 lines and you've got your nice box. Well, when you move from 4 to 5, well, now you have gotten outside of the box. So in this 5th week, with the 5 of Swords there, you see there is a guy in the foreground. He's got, looks like 3 swords in his hand, and there are 2 that are lying down on the ground. And it looks like some people are walking away. Drop some swords. The outcome of whatever this situation is, whether it was an argument with somebody, whether it was something that was going on in the courts, some type of confrontation or conflict. And if I had said this, because with fives, like I said, being, conflict and doing things different, thinking outside of the box, paired with swords, which, also represent conflict and intellect and communication. What I just unfortunately see conflict. And it's via, it's the communication has a lot to do with this. We've got two cards with the swords and two with the wands. Seems like there's some hot fire around communications. Hot fire around communications that's causing conflict. And you're being asked with the hangman in the second week to really just surrender, because you might be in a bit of a tight space, unable to, you don't have the wiggle room that you wish you had. So, sacrificing, acting out via your ego is going to be a good idea, especially if you are dealing with the powers that be, whoever that power is. So the outcome is uncertain. You may not be feeling as bold by week 5 as you did at the beginning of July. Fives are about change. And with all of this conflict and all of this fighting, you've grown tired. And now having to add change on top of that, it's kind of making it hard for you to digest all of this. It's the way that I see it. Hard to make the adjustments you don't want to make. The adjustments you're kind of, I guess, not really wanting to think outside of the box. I'm still wondering, but you know what? I've got to say this. You might be feeling down, unready to make changes, but even in reverse, what I see are two people walking away. So, because it's reversed, I don't want to say necessarily that you've won the battle, but it looks like you got some people to back up off you. That's what it seems like to me. By the end of July, you may be feeling uncertain, but you put up a hell of a fight. I don't know if you're going to take my advice about not jumping the gun, because it looks like, with the 5 of swords here at the end, at the last week of July, and he's holding on these swords and he's looking behind him, and there are 2 swords on the ground. So I assume that these other 2 people had those swords, but they don't have them anymore, and they're walking away. And this might have been a battle, but you get some people to back the hell up off you. That's the outcome. That is the outcome. And he's standing there holding these swords. If he were upright, let's let you see it that way. And he's looking back like, now I wish you would. He's looking back like, I dare you to turn around and come back. So even reversed, he still got his three swords. Those people are still walking away. But it kind of makes me feel like overall, he feels like or overall, Scorpio, you may feel like you've gotten people to back up off you, but maybe you still just don't feel confident about what's going to happen. Are they coming back? Are they coming back with more swords? I've got them. I'm watching them now, but what happens once they get out of my sight? It's like you're really not sure about what's going to happen next, even though we're going to say you won the battle, but you're not sure about what happens next. You're not sure if you completely won the battle, but it looks to me like you did. And Scorpio, I gotta say, it looks like you may not follow my advice. Either way, I mean, but I feel like that if you don't fly off the handle, if you don't um, don't incriminate yourself in any situation. And I know I've talked about this like this was something that was going on in court, and that's kind of what I see. But well, that is what I see. But this is a general reading, and this is about symbolism and associations. So, in any war of words, in any situation, in any battle of the minds, do not say anything to incriminate yourself, Scorpio. Do not put something out there that you cannot take back. Surrender the tongue, okay? Just because you're really confused. You may not have all of the answers that you need in the first part of the month to successfully win this battle. Now, maybe you came into that with the Six of Swords, even though you felt like you were going to sink. You were really getting close to shore there. Maybe the answers that you needed were, just ahead. And so in the fifth week and being your outcome, you've won the battle, even though in your mind you're not sure that you have. So I think just overall to say is, be really, try to be a bit humble and quiet in the first part of July. And don't say or do anything to incriminate yourself. Now, I like to associate numerology with the reading, and the overall reading, the numbers on all of the cards add up to the number 9. And the 9s are about completions. It's about completions of a cycle. Whatever it is that is going on here, you managed to wrap it up, no matter how hard it was. You managed to get through it and wrap it up. That's the way that I see it. Whatever this is that is going on in the month of July, whatever type of battle this is, whatever type of uncomfortable energy this may be, you do deal with it, and you do complete this process, whatever it is. You do complete it, and you win. You just don't know that you won. Definitely looks like a fiery battle of the minds, fiery battle of words. There's a lot of passion and intensity in the words that are being spoken, in the communication. There's a lot of hot fiery intensity in this communication, Scorpio. The energy is so my heart chakra is just heavy. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying the energy that I'm pulling from these cards is so powerful that I can feel that in my heart chakra. So I don't know what else I can say about that, Scorpio. May not sound like the most comfortable thing in July, but you win in the end. And if you think that you haven't won and you've watched this video, remember what I said and realize that you have in fact won. You may be confused about what's going to happen next, but as we close out this particular chapter, might be confused. You might be feeling weighed down and tired from all this battling. You might feel like it wasn't worth it. I don't want to do it anymore. But you've won, Scorpio. You've won. Maybe it makes my heart chakra hurt because I have a Scorpio rising and a Scorpio moon. So this is influencing my world too. But anyway, okay. So hopefully, at least I can help us with all this Scorpio energy, know that what we might be dealing with, and just know that you will be victorious. No matter what you think about it, you're victorious, Scorpio, and you are powerful and you are strong. So whatever happens, just like you have gotten through and completed a bunch of other cycles, just like you have transformed and all of these things, you will do it again. So that's it, Scorpio. Much love to you guys, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you next month.